What's up, y'all? It's Truth Tiger, and today I'm going to talk about empathy. And your empathy is rare. Sorry for the background noise, that's just my dishwasher. I live in a pretty small apartment, so that's just part of it. But yeah, your empathy is very, very rare. I've made the mistake of having the assumption that everybody else had empathy the way I did, and everybody else cared for others and cared about others the way I do. And unfortunately, that's not the case. And a lot of people will pretend to have empathy, they will pretend to care, they'll put on a mask like they care about others, but most people are pretty much entirely self interested. And um, they just they project a false image of someone who cares and someone who is kind and loving, but underneath that is not really who they are. And they're trying to fool other people, and in a lot of ways they're trying to fool themselves because they don't want to have to face who they really are. But when it really comes down to it, most people don't really have much care or empathy. They're not really looking out for other people. They're not really able to place themselves in another person's shoes. And, they're just not really able to, care about other people. I can tell you a story from a while back. Like, there was a coworker I saw who didn't have a car, who was walking home, and they didn't have a jacket on, and it was pouring rain. And I didn't even really like this coworker that much, but I offered to give this fellow a ride home because, I'm like, if that could be me out there getting rained on, and that sucks. So I want to help this person out. And I've always kind of been that way in life, where I'm trying to be understanding of others, I'm trying to be kind, I'm trying to be helpful, I'm trying to be supportive, all this stuff. And it dawned on me that these other people are not returning that favor, and that these other people are not operating from a place of empathy at all. They're just like, whatever happens to you happens to you. It's like it's me. And for a lot of people, it's me and mine. Like, they will at least look out for their close friends or family. But with most people, it's not even me and mine. It's just me. And the other people around them, they're just trying to extract and get things out of. And they're just, trying to spread their drama and problems around. And they're not thinking about how their actions will affect other people. A lot of people are just like that. They're very ignorant, and they just have a lot of drama, and they make poor decisions, and they have bad friends, and they make the environment around them bad, and they spread all this drama around. And I've been around people like that who are just foolish, and they're not thinking about how this kind of crap will affect me. They're not. And they're not thinking about how this kind of crap will affect the people around them, and that I could get dragged down with these people. And not only that, like, there's people that are just straight up looking to take advantage too. No empathy or compassion there. And I really think the world tries to beat empathy out of us and beat care out of us, because this matrix, this system, this society we live in, which is about making money and being all political, and trying to get one over on everybody else, and trying to be someone who's a victim who will get attention or whatever. People have whatever. I mean, pick yours. Whether you want to get money, whether you want to be a victim, whether you want to get all the attention and have everybody focus on you, whatever it is. But most people are in that kind of mindset where they're looking to look down on people. They're not really, they're jealous of other people. They see others around them not as friends, allies, or companions, but as threats. Or they just see people as, what can I get out of this person? What can I extract from this person? How can I ride this person's coattails? How can I turn this person into my therapist and talk to them about all my annoying problems? Whatever, not respecting boundaries. It's a tough realization to have, but it's like, your empathy is very, very rare. And your empathy is very, very special. And, your empathy makes you stand out, you know. And I'm not talking about people have I'm so empathetic and gonna have this big pity party and oh we're these empathetic victims. I'm not talking about that where people are just. I mean, people like that are usually covert narcissists, and they're trying to project themselves as some pathetic person as a way to get attention. So I want to differentiate between that, but having actual empathy, actual care, like I was talking to someone recently and they were telling me about some business they're doing and some stuff they got going on, and I was like, wow, dude, that's really awesome. Like, you're really doing it. That's amazing, you know? And I was genuinely happy to see this person succeed because, you know, it's cool to see people do well. And when I see other people do well, it inspires me, it motivates me, it makes my thinking better, it gets me more focused, it gets my heart, you know, the intentions of my heart to get better, you know, when I see other people doing well. But I could tell by talking to this guy that most other people were jealous, doubtful, spiteful, negative, whatever, you know. So the empathy that we have shines a light. And the fact that we care about others it really makes us special in wherever we're at in life. It makes us very, very needed. And again, a lot of people will not admit this. A lot of people are too small to acknowledge this. A lot of people are just way too distracted to acknowledge this. A lot of people are jealous and spiteful. And a lot of people think that because we're quote unquote nice people or quote unquote good people, they can just dump all their problems onto us and they can just ride us until our back breaks. And you don't want people doing that, and you got to set boundaries and not allow people to do that. But the reason why all these people are just like kind of flocking to you, and I have experienced this, and why so many people are like, interested in you and interested in us, is because we have that kind of empathy, you know? And it really does make us special in the room that we're at. You know, people really do look at us I don't know, it's like I think people see us kind of as the mature adults in the room, if you will. Because on some level, I think having empathy is a mark of maturity and is a mark of being a quote unquote grown adult in the true sense, you know? Being emotionally, spiritually, whatever, matured, and being emotionally and spiritually, along. And don't assume these other people have empathy, because when you do, it's like people really, like that nice thing you did for people that you just thought was just a normal thing to do, they don't have a lot of other people doing those nice things. They don't have a lot of other people that they can really talk to. They don't have a lot of other people or any other people who will really listen. It basically just comes down to us, you know? We're basically the only ones who are going to actually listen. And, we are the healers, if you will. We really are. We are the healers because we are willing to, again, care about others and care about ourselves as well, you know? Because most people don't care about themselves, they don't care about others, and they're just doing God knows what, you know? Not a quote unquote care in the world, but not in a good way. Not in a good way, you know? And for us, having that empathy, actually caring, actually giving a crap about what's going on, it's like someone has to do that. And if you have a group of people and nobody cares, that group disintegrates very, very fast, and bad things happen within that group, and all kind of drama shows up very, very fast around that group because nobody quote unquote cares, and things will degenerate. And again, there are people that are going to look at you like an alien because you have empathy. There are people that are going to be scared or threatened or stuff like that because you have empathy. And there's people who are on the dark side and are working with the forces of evil who are going to try to sabotage you because they see that you're a good person and they want to try to get rid of goodness. They don't like it. Goodness Goodness shows them everything they are missing out on. Goodness shows them everything they can be. And goodness shows them that, like, hey, like, when they see us, it's like they realize how backwards they are and how wrong what they are doing is, and they don't want to acknowledge it. But without us, they are out in the cold. Without us, it's just no one cares about nobody, and that's the general state of the world and the general order of the world. Nobody cares about anybody. Nobody cares about anybody but themselves, and a lot of these people don't even care about themselves. And that's why the world is in such a state of chaos and evil. There's other reasons too, but I would say that's the main reason, is people don't care about each other. So I'm telling y'all, I used to think my empathy was just like whatever. I didn't really value it. I didn't think it was anything that special. I thought other people had it, but as I've gotten older, I realized that it really does make me special, and it really does make us all stand out. And your empathy is such a special gift. It's a gift worth more than any of the money in the world. It's the gift worth more than all the treasures of the world, all the gold, all the silver, whatever, all the Bugattis, all the Patron, all the villas in the south of France, whatever, all the houses in the Hamptons. You add all that up, and it still does not even come close to the value that your empathy has. Like, your empathy has the power to heal, it has the power to change, and it has the power to do good things in your environment and good things in the world. Don't underestimate the positive effect that you have on the people around you. Don't underestimate the positive effect that you have in the world as a whole. Don't underestimate yourself, period, Really don't. And don't let these people sell you short. Don't let these people make you feel like you're not that important. It's the opposite. You're very important. Your empathy is very important. Your care is very important. Your love for others is very important. The fact that you don't judge people and you don't judge people's situations, and even if someone is opposing or someone has different views or someone is on a different side of the fence, your empathy is a lot more powerful than that. And I'm sorry, but if you can't really love your enemy, quote unquote, or even not even your enemy, but just someone who has a different worldview, if you can't have a love for that person and a care for that person, I'm sorry, but you don't have very much empathy. And you want to say you're this big empathetic person, I'm sorry, but you don't have very much empathy then, it's pretty limited. It's pretty limited if you only have empathy for the group that you belong to. I have empathy for my family, I have empathy for my wife, I have empathy for my husband, I have empathy for my children, but nobody else, It's the same thing as that. I have empathy for people who voted the same way, has the same political views as me. I have empathy for the people who have the same religious views as me. I have empathy for people who are aligned with me in some way, but the people who are not aligned, no empathy for them whatsoever, And that's not the right way to do it. That really isn't. Even the narcissists and the toxic people, and even the people who stab me in the back the hardest, I still have empathy for them on some level, So, Jesus does teach us to love our enemy as well. So, our empathy allows us to, cross over those bridges and to transcend all these barriers that the Matrix puts up in front of us. These barriers of religion and politics and nationality and I don't know, barriers of gender, barriers of young versus old, whatever. The Matrix has all these barriers set up, and our empathy transcends those barriers, and our empathy takes us over those barriers, and our empathy smashes those barriers apart because, love is so much bigger than these things of the world. And our empathy allows us to connect with everybody, Everybody. And I'm not saying I'm some perfect person. I'm not saying I don't have flaws. I'm not saying I'm this paragon of empathy and I always love everybody all the time. I have bad days. I lose my temper sometimes. I lose patience sometimes. I get frustrated. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I try to be as understanding as I can of everybody. I try to see people's perspectives. even if I do not agree with them. I just kind of realize that there's bigger things than winning the argument, and that's what most people in the Matrix just want to do. They just want to win the argument and be right and feed their ego. And people like us who really have empathy, we realize there's bigger things than that. There's much, much bigger things than just being right and winning the argument and us versus them. If you have empathy, you realize like it's not us versus them. Like there's the them is still your fellow human. The them was created by God the same way you were. The them is God's creation and God's child the same way you are. And that whatever the them, whoever the them is, like people make their own choices as individuals to kind of be good or evil. A lot of times with this stuff, when you really have empathy, you realize that someone is born in a certain country or in a certain family or in a certain culture or whatever, they're gonna be more conformed to have certain beliefs, and you got to be understanding of that. And just also like empathy also just allows you to not really get tripped up too much about haters. You don't want to have toxic empathy where I'm gonna fix these haters, I'm gonna change them. I'm not talking about that, but just when you're just like, hey, like, whatever, I'm bigger than that, I'm bigger than that, so yeah, like your empathy is so rare, your care is so rare, the fact that you actually care about the people around you is very rare, the fact that you want to see the people around you doing well is very rare, the fact that you are able to see people who are on the other side of the fence not as a them but as all of us, and that you can actually try to relate to those people as best you can, I mean, those barriers are still there. I mean, some people are going to choose to meet you halfway with that. Some people are going to say, you have to conform to me, whatever. So I'm not saying you can, I'm not saying you can always reach everybody, but, us with empathy, we try to love our fellow, and not only our fellow, but we try to love our enemy too, and we try to actually be cool to everybody and bring everybody together. Again, it's a lot of toxic people. It's a lot of people that are not going to. You can't magically change everybody. They have to want to do this stuff on their own, but you can reach people in a different kind of way that most people can't. You really can, and you can relate to people very universally, you really can. So yeah, I'm gonna tell y'all, like, your empathy and your love and your kindness and the fact that you care about others and the fact that you can put yourself in another person's shoes is very, very, very rare. Most people are wholly incapable of doing so. So I want to give y'all these words of encouragement, and I want to tell y'all that your empathy that you have, true empathy, actual empathy, it's worth more than all the riches of the world. So yeah, I'm going to end this one here, but God bless. It's much love, and the Truth Tiger will see you all next time.